Good morning, dear children. Today we are continuing the chapter Constitutional Design. Next, we are moving to the next topic Making of Indian Constitution. India's constitution was drawn up under very difficult circumstances. The country was born through a partition on the basis of religious differences and was a traumatic experience for the people of India and Pakistan. The British had left it to the rulers of princely states to decide whether they wanted to merge India with Pakistan or remain independent. The merger of these princely states was a difficult and uncertain task. When the constitution was being written, the future of the country did not look as secure as it does today. The path to the constitution. One of the major advantages for the makers of the Indian constitution was that consensus about what a democratic India should look like and already evolved during freedom struggle. In 1928, Motilal Nehru and 8 other Congress leaders drafted a constitution for India, and in 1931 the resolution at the Karachi session of Indian National Congress dwelt on how independent India's constitution should look like. Both these documents included features such as universal adult franchise, right to freedom and equality, and to protecting the rights of minorities in the Constitution of Independent India. These basic values were accepted by all leaders much before the Constituent Assembly met to deliberate on the Constitution. That is why the Indian Constitution adopted many institutional details and procedures from colonial laws like the Government of India Act 1935. Many of our leaders were inspired by the ideals of French Revolution, the practice of parliamentary democracy in Britain and the Bills of Rights in the US. The Constituent Assembly. The drafting of constitution was done by an assembly of elected representatives called the Constituent Assembly. Elections to the Constituent Assembly were held in July 1946 and its first meeting was held in December 1946. Soon after, the country was divided into India and Pakistan, and the Constituent Assembly was also divided into the Constituent Assembly of India and that of Pakistan. The Constituent Assembly that wrote the Indian Constitution had 299 members. The Assembly adopted the Constitution on 26th November 1949, but it came to an effect on January 26, 1950. To mark this day, we celebrate January 26 as Republic Day every year. Why should we accept the Constitution made by this Assembly more than six decades ago? The Constitution does not reflect the views of its members alone, it expresses a broad consciousness of its time. The second reason for accepting the Constitution is that the Constituent Assembly represented the people of India. Finally, the manner in which the Constituent Assembly worked gives satisfactory in the Constitution. The Constituent Assembly worked in a systematic, open and conscientious manner. First, some basic principles were decided and agreed upon. Then a drafting committee chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar prepared a draft constitution for discussion. Several rounds of through discussions took place on the draft constitution clause by clause. Many than 2000 amendments were considered. Every document was presented and every word spoken in Constituent Assembly has been recorded and preserved. These are called Constituent Assembly debates. Guiding values of Indian Constitution. First, understand the overall philosophy of what our Constitution is all about. Read the views of some of the major leaders on our Constitution and read what the Constitution says about its own philosophy. This is what the preamble to the Constitution does. The dream and the promise. There were many members who followed the vision of Mahatma Gandhi. This dream of an India that has eliminated inequality was shared by Dr. Ambedkar, who played a key role in making of the constitution. But his vision of removing inequalities from India was different from Gandhiji. Philosophy on Constitution. Values that inspired and guided the freedom struggle and were in turn nurtured by the former foundation of Indian democracy. Give below are the values embedded in the preamble of Indian Constitution. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure all the citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty through expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status of opportunity, and to promote among all them fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity of integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. This is all for today. Thank you, children.